My name is Diego. I am a storyteller, and I often weave tales that echo the human experience. One day, while sitting in a quiet cafe, I noticed a crumpled piece of paper on the floor beneath my brother Richard's seat. Curiosity sparked within me as I bent down to retrieve it. To my shock, it was a hotel receipt. My heart raced as I glanced at the name printed boldly on the bill. It was my girlfriend, Margaret's name. Confusion washed over me as I sat in a public space, surrounded by the chatter of strangers, feeling utterly isolated. Questions flooded my mind. Had Richard been hiding something? Were they together behind my back? I thought of James, my closest friend, who had always encouraged me to trust the people I loved. Yet this revelation felt like a betrayal from both Richard and Margaret. I knew I needed to confront them, to seek the truth that loomed heavy between us. The cafe's warmth faded, replaced by a chill of uncertainty. I could feel the weight of the moment settle within my chest, urging me to act. The story of trust and betrayal was unfolding, and I was its unwitting protagonist, caught between love and loyalty in a world painted in shades of gray. I sat in the cafe, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee mingling with the soft chatter of patrons around me. It was a typical November morning, the kind that hinted at the holidays approaching, but my mind was elsewhere. My brother Richard sat across from me, engrossed in his phone. I had always found comfort in these moments, sharing a quiet space with family, but today felt different. As I glanced around the cafe, my eyes caught a glimpse of something crumpled on the floor beneath Richard's chair. Curiosity piqued, I bent down to retrieve it. My heart sank as I unfolded the piece of paper, revealing a hotel receipt. The bold letters of the name struck me like a punch to the gut. Margaret. My girlfriend's name was printed right there, staring back at me. Confusion washed over me, and I could feel my pulse quicken. What was this doing in Richard's possession? Richard looked up, noticing my sudden change in demeanor. "Everything okay?" he asked, a hint of concern in his voice. I couldn't respond immediately. My thoughts were racing, tangled in a web of betrayal and disbelief. Had Richard been hiding something? Were they together behind my back? My mind flashed back to the moments I had shared with Margaret. The laughter, the late-night talks, the dreams we had woven together. How could she do this to me? Just last week we had talked about our future, about plans that seemed so solid and real. The thought of her with someone else felt like a knife twisting in my gut. As Richard continued to scroll through his phone, I felt the weight of the receipt in my hand like a leaden anchor. The cafe was bustling, but I felt utterly isolated, trapped in a whirlwind of emotions. I thought of James, my closest friend, who had always encouraged me to trust the people I loved. But how could I trust either of them now? The receipt had an inked timestamp that made it clear this wasn't just some mistake. It was recent, too recent. I could feel the warmth of the cafe fading, replaced by a chill of uncertainty that seeped into my bones. I needed answers, and I needed them now. The truth loomed heavy between us, and I knew I couldn't let it fester. "Richard," I began, my voice steady despite the turmoil within me. "Can you explain why I found this?" I held up the receipt, my heart pounding in my chest. Richard's expression shifted from casual to alarmed as he processed what I was showing him. "Where did you find that?" he asked, his tone suddenly defensive. "Under your chair. It's a hotel receipt, Richard, with Margaret's name on it." He shifted uncomfortably, his eyes darting around the cafe as if searching for an escape route. I don't know how that got there," he stammered, but the guilt was etched on his face. "Don't lie to me," I snapped, my voice rising despite my efforts to stay calm. "What's going on? Are you two seeing each other?" Richard shook his head vehemently, but I could see the uncertainty in his eyes. "No, Diego, it's not what you think, I swear." "Then explain it to me," I demanded, feeling the anger bubbling just beneath the surface, because right now it looks pretty damning. The cafe was alive with the sounds of laughter and conversation, but I felt like I was in a vacuum where only Richard and I existed. My heart raced as I waited for his response, my mind racing with possibilities. "I was going to tell you," he finally admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "Margaret and we shared a room, but it was innocent, I promise. She needed someone to talk to. Things have been rough for her, and I thought I could help." "Help?" I scoffed, disbelief flooding my senses. "By sharing a hotel room? You expect me to believe that?" "I didn't think it would come to this. I thought you were happy together," he pleaded, his eyes pleading with mine. "I didn't want to hurt you, Diego. I really didn't." The betrayal stung, and I felt the walls closing in. "You should have thought of that before you put me in this position," I said, my voice trembling with a mixture of anger and heartbreak. Richard looked down, shame washing over him. "I never meant for you to find out like this. I thought it was just a friendly gesture." "Friendly? A hotel room is not friendly," I shot back, my voice rising again. "You should have told me." At that moment, my phone buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out, half expecting it to be a message from Margaret. Instead, it was a notification from James, checking in on me. I couldn't bring myself to respond. I needed to confront Margaret, to hear her side of the story. "Richard, I need to go," I said, my voice hardening. "I can't do this right now." "Diego, please," he pleaded, reaching out as I stood up. "Don't walk away. Let's talk about this." But I was already moving, the weight of betrayal heavy on my shoulders. The cafe's warmth faded behind me as I stepped into the chill of the November air. I needed answers, and I needed them from Margaret. The uncertainty gnawed at me, and as I walked away, I couldn't shake the feeling that everything I thought I knew was crumbling around me. The story of trust and betrayal was unfolding, and I was caught in its grip, desperate for clarity in a world painted in shades of gray. But I was already moving, the weight of betrayal heavy on my shoulders. The cafe's warmth faded behind me as I stepped into the chill of the November air. I needed answers, and I needed them from Margaret. The uncertainty gnawed at me, and as I walked away, I couldn't shake the feeling that everything I thought I knew was crumbling around me. The story of trust and betrayal was unfolding, and I was caught in its grip, desperate for clarity in a world painted in shades of gray. But I was already moving, the weight of betrayal heavy on my shoulders. The cafe's warmth faded behind me as I stepped into the chill of the November air. I needed answers, and I needed them from Margaret. The uncertainty gnawed at me, and as I walked away, I couldn't shake the feeling that everything I thought I knew was crumbling around me. I made my way to the park, the crisp air biting at my skin. The trees stood bare, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers against the gray sky. I could hear the distant laughter of children playing, a stark contrast to the turmoil raging inside me. My thoughts were a chaotic storm, swirling around the betrayal and the uncertainty of my relationship with Margaret. I took a seat on a bench, my hands trembling as I replayed the scene in the cafe. Richard's face, the guilt in his eyes, the way he struggled to explain himself, it all felt surreal. How could he do this to me? How could Margaret be involved? I thought of the moments we had shared, the promises we had made to one another. As I sat there, the weight of the hotel receipt in my pocket felt like a ticking time bomb. I knew I had to confront Margaret, to demand answers. But what would I say? Would she deny everything? Would she confess? The uncertainty gnawed at my insides, a relentless ache that refused to subside. Finally, I pulled out my phone and texted Margaret, asking her to meet me at the park. I needed to see her, to hear her voice. The minutes dragged on, each second feeling like an eternity. I looked around, watching couples stroll by, their laughter echoing in the air. It felt like a cruel reminder of what I stood to lose. When Margaret arrived, her smile lit up her face, but it faltered as soon as she saw my expression. "Diego, what's wrong?" she asked, concern creeping into her voice. I took a deep breath, my heart pounding. "We need to talk," I said, my voice steady but laced with tension. "About what?" she asked, her brow furrowing. I pulled the hotel receipt from my pocket and held it out to her. "Why is your name on this?" Her eyes widened, and for a moment I saw panic flicker across her face. "Where did you find that?" she asked, almost too quickly. "In Richard's car," I replied, my voice steady. "Explain it to me." As she opened her mouth to respond, I could see the wheels turning in her mind. I braced myself for the truth, whatever it might be. The park around us faded away, and in that moment, it was just the two of us, standing on the precipice of our future, or the end of it. As I stood there, the weight of the hotel receipt felt heavier than ever. Margaret's expression shifted from shock to concern, but I couldn't let her sidestep the truth. "You need to tell me what's going on," I urged, my voice firm. "Why was your name on a hotel receipt found in Richard's car?" Margaret opened her mouth, but the words seemed stuck in her throat. I could see the panic in her eyes, the way her mind raced to fabricate an explanation. "Diego, I can explain," she started, but I cut her off. "Explain what? That you were spending time with my brother in a hotel? This isn't just something minor. This is betrayal." I felt the anger rising in my chest, hot and suffocating. My hands clenched into fists at my sides as I tried to contain the storm brewing within me. "Diego, please." "Just hear me out," she pleaded, her voice trembling. "It wasn't what you think. Richard and I were just talking. I've been feeling lost, and he was there for me. I never meant for it to go this far." "Talking?" I scoffed, disbelief flooding my senses. "You don't share a hotel room with someone just to talk. That's not how this works, Margaret. You're either being dishonest or you're completely naive to think that I would believe that." Tears welled in her eyes, and I felt a crack in my resolve. "I didn't want to hurt you, Diego. You have to believe me. Richard was just a friend who was there when I needed someone. Things have been hard for me lately, and I didn't know how to deal with it." "Hard for you?" I echoed, my voice rising again. "And so you turned to my brother? What about us, Margaret? What about the love we built together? Was it all just a facade?" "I love you, Diego," she exclaimed, desperation creeping into her voice. "I do, but I felt so alone." I thought I could confide in Richard, but it spiraled out of control. I swear it was innocent at first, but I see now how it looks. "Do you understand how this feels?" I asked, my heart aching. "I trusted you completely. I thought we were building a life together. And now I find out you've been sharing intimate moments with my brother? How can I trust you again?" Margaret stepped closer, reaching for my arm, but I pulled away. "Please don't," I said, my voice strained. "I need space to think. Right now, I can't even look at you without feeling sick." "Diego, I'm so sorry. I never wanted to hurt you. I was confused, and I made a terrible mistake," she said, her voice breaking. "I'll do anything to make it right. Just give me a chance to prove it." "Prove it?" I repeated, incredulous. "How do you propose to do that? By promising me it won't happen again? By saying the words you think I want to hear? Trust doesn't just come back because you say so, Margaret." I turned away, needing to create distance between us. The park was filled with the laughter of children, couples walking hand in hand, and yet I felt utterly alone. My heart was a battleground, torn between the love I had for her and the betrayal that threatened to consume me. "Diego, please," she called after me, her voice laced with desperation. "I'll do anything. I'll talk to someone. I'll go to therapy. I'll even cut ties with Richard if that's what you want. Just don't walk away from us." I paused, the weight of her words hitting me like a freight train. The thought of losing her entirely was almost unbearable, yet the memory of Richard's guilt-ridden face flashed in my mind. I felt trapped, caught between the love I had for Margaret and the deep sense of betrayal that had shattered my trust. "Why should I believe you?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. "You say you love me, but you were ready to throw it all away for a moment of weakness. How do I know you won't do it again?" "I don't know," she admitted, her voice trembling. "But I want to try. I want to fight for us. I know I messed up, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes to rebuild what we had. You mean too much to me." The sincerity in her eyes stirred something deep within me, a flicker of hope amidst the chaos. But could I really trust her again? Could I look past the betrayal and forge a new path forward? My heart ached at the thought of a future without her, yet the fear of being hurt again loomed large. I need time," I finally said, my voice heavy with uncertainty. "Time to think about everything. I can't make any promises right now." "Take all the time you need," she said softly, her shoulders slumping in defeat. "I'll be here, waiting for you. Just know that I'm sorry and I love you." As I turned to walk away, I felt the weight of her gaze on my back, a mix of sorrow and hope. The chill in the air seemed to wrap around me, a reminder of the emotional storm I had just confronted. I had a decision to make, one that could alter the course of my life. I walked away from the park, feeling the tug of my heartstrings as I left Margaret behind. The path ahead was uncertain, filled with shadows of doubt and fear. But one thing was clear: I had to confront my own feelings, to figure out what I truly wanted. The future loomed ahead, and I was left standing at a crossroads, grappling with love and betrayal, longing and heartbreak. As I sat on the bench, the weight of the hotel receipt pressed against my leg, a constant reminder of the betrayal I was grappling with. The park was alive with the sounds of laughter, children playing, and couples enjoying their time together, but I felt like an outsider, trapped in my own storm of emotions. The cold November air nipped at my skin, but it was nothing compared to the chill that had settled in my heart. I glanced at my phone, willing it to buzz with a message from Margaret, but the silence was deafening. The uncertainty gnawed at me, and I knew I had to confront her. I couldn't let this linger any longer. I needed answers. The thought of her with Richard was a bitter pill to swallow, and the image of them together twisted in my mind like a knife. Finally, I saw her approaching, her familiar silhouette cutting through the crowd. As she drew closer, her smile faded, replaced by concern as she took in my expression. "Diego, what's wrong?" she asked, her voice laced with genuine worry. I took a deep breath, steeling myself for what was to come. "We need to talk," I replied, my voice steady but edged with tension. "About what?" she asked, her brow furrowing in confusion. I pulled the hotel receipt from my pocket and held it out toward her, my heart racing. "Why is your name on this?" Her eyes widened in shock, and I could see panic flicker across her face. "Where did you find that?" she asked, almost too quickly, as if she was trying to buy time. "In Richard's car," I replied, my voice firm. "Explain it to me." She opened her mouth to respond, but the words seemed to catch in her throat. I could see the wheels turning in her mind, and I braced myself for whatever excuse she might conjure. "Diego, I can explain," she started, but I cut her off. "Explain what? That you were spending time with my brother in a hotel? This isn't just something minor. This is betrayal." My voice rose, filled with raw anger and hurt. Tears welled in her eyes, and I felt a crack in my resolve. "I didn't want to hurt you, Diego. You have to believe me," she pleaded. "I never meant for it to go this far." "Then what was it meant to be?" I shot back. "You don't share a hotel room with someone just to talk. That's not how this works, Margaret. You're either being dishonest or you're completely naive to think that I would believe that." "I swear it was innocent at first," she insisted, desperation creeping into her voice. "But I see now how it looks." I didn't know how to cope with everything. "Coping by turning to my brother?" I countered, incredulous. "What about us? What about the love we built together? Was it all just a facade?" "I love you, Diego," she exclaimed, her voice rising with emotion. "I do, but I felt so alone. Richard was there when I needed someone. I thought it wouldn't go beyond that, but I see how wrong I was." "Do you understand how this feels?" I asked, the ache in my heart growing. "I trusted you completely. I thought we were building a life together. And now I find out you've been sharing intimate moments with my brother? How can I trust you again?" Margaret stepped closer, reaching for my arm, but I pulled away, the hurt too fresh. "Please, don't," I said, my voice strained. "I need space to think. Right now, I can't even look at you without feeling sick." "Diego, I'm so sorry. I never wanted to hurt you," she said, her voice breaking. "I'll do anything to make it right. Just give me a chance to prove it." I turned away, needing to create distance between us. The laughter of children, the warmth of couples walking hand in hand, felt like a cruel reminder of what I stood to lose. My heart was a battlefield, torn between the love I had for her and the betrayal that threatened to consume me. As I turned to walk away, I felt the weight of her gaze on my back, a mix of sorrow and hope. The chill in the air wrapped around me, a reminder of the emotional storm I had just confronted. I had a decision to make, one that could alter the course of my life. I walked away from the park, feeling the tug of my heartstrings as I left Margaret behind. The path ahead was uncertain, filled with shadows of doubt and fear. But one thing was clear. I had to confront my own feelings, to figure out what I truly wanted. The future loomed ahead, and I was left standing at a crossroads, grappling with love and betrayal, longing and heartbreak. As weeks turned into months, the initial shock of betrayal slowly morphed into a dull ache that lingered in the corners of my heart. I found myself often at the park, the same place where everything had unraveled. Each time I would sit on the same bench, running my fingers over the cold surface, remembering the way Margaret's eyes had pleaded with me for understanding and forgiveness. Margaret had taken my request for time seriously. She had given me space, but I could feel the weight of her absence pressing down on me. I had seen her a few times in the months following our confrontation, each encounter filled with an unspoken tension. She was trying to reach out, to show me that she was committed to changing, to making things right. But every time I looked at her, I felt the ghost of Richard's betrayal lurking in the background. One chilly afternoon, as I sat on the bench, I noticed Richard walking toward me. My heart raced, a mix of anger and trepidation brewing inside. He approached cautiously, his hands shoved deep into his coat pockets, his expression unreadable. "Diego," he said, his voice low, "can we talk?" I wanted to refuse, to tell him that there was nothing left to discuss, but part of me craved answers, a chance to understand what had driven him to betray me. "Fine," I replied, my voice steely. "You have 5 minutes." He nodded, taking a seat beside me. The silence stretched between us, heavy and uncomfortable. Finally, Richard broke it. "I never meant for it to go this far," he admitted, his gaze on the ground. "I was stupid, selfish. I thought I could be there for Margaret without crossing a line." "Crossing a line?" I echoed, incredulously. "You shared a hotel room with her, Richard. That's not just a line, it's a chasm. How could you do that to me?" "I didn't think it would happen," he said, his voice thick with regret. "Margaret was vulnerable, and I was there. It was a mistake, one I regret every day. I never wanted to hurt you." "Your feelings don't matter to me right now," I snapped, my anger flaring again. "You hurt me and you hurt her. You both made choices. I'm the one left to pick up the pieces." Richard looked at me, his eyes filled with remorse. "I know. I can't change what happened, but I want to make it right. I want to help her if she's willing to try again. I care about both of you." "Caring doesn't erase the betrayal," I shot back. "You think saying you care makes it okay? It doesn't work like that. You've shattered my trust." "I understand," he said quietly, the weight of his words hanging in the air. "But I'm here to say I'm sorry. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I hope you can find a way to move forward, with or without us." His sincerity caught me off guard. I had spent so long building walls around my heart, convinced that I could never forgive either of them. But as Richard spoke, I realized that forgiveness wasn't about them. It was about me. It was about letting go of the pain that had anchored me in anger. "I don't know if I can forgive you," I admitted, my voice softer now. "But I need to start thinking about my future, not just the past." Richard nodded, his expression solemn. "That's all I can ask for. Just know that I will always regret my choices. I hope you find peace, Diego." With that, he stood and walked away, leaving me alone with my thoughts once more. I felt a strange sense of relief wash over me, a small step toward healing. I didn't have all the answers, but I knew I had to confront my feelings for Margaret to see if there was a path forward for us. Weeks later, I arranged to meet Margaret at the same park. As I arrived, I felt a flutter of nerves. Would I be able to look her in the eye without the weight of betrayal clouding my thoughts? When I spotted her, sitting on our bench, my heart raced. She looked different, more vibrant, as if she had been waiting for this moment for a long time. "Diego," she said softly, her eyes locking onto mine. "Thank you for meeting me." I took a deep breath, gathering my thoughts. "I've been doing a lot of thinking," I began, feeling the weight of every word. "About us, about everything that happened." Margaret's expression shifted, a mix of hope and uncertainty. "And what have you decided?" "I can't pretend that everything is okay," I said, my voice steady. "What you did hurt me deeply. But I've realized that holding on to that pain only keeps me from moving forward. I need to know if you're truly committed to making things right." "I am," she replied, her voice earnest. "I know I messed up, but I've been working on myself. I've started therapy, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to rebuild your trust." Her sincerity struck a chord within me. The flicker of hope I had felt before began to grow. "I want to believe you, Margaret," I admitted, "but it's going to take time. I can't rush this." "I understand," she said, nodding. "I'm here for the long haul. I'll wait as long as you need." As we sat together, the chill in the air seemed to lift slightly. I could see a path ahead, though it was still shrouded in uncertainty. Perhaps it was possible to forge a new beginning, one built on honesty and open communication. It wouldn't be easy, but I felt a sense of determination rising within me. "Let's take it one step at a time," I suggested, my heart pounding with both fear and excitement. "We can figure this out together if you're truly willing." Margaret smiled, a genuine smile that reached her eyes. "I am, Diego. I want to fight for us." In that moment, I knew we had a long way to go, but I was willing to try. We had both learned painful lessons, and while the scars of betrayal would always remain, there was a flicker of hope for a future together. As we left the park, hand in hand, I felt the warmth of possibility surrounding us. A reminder that love could sometimes find a way to heal even the deepest wounds.